Instead of, blaming the industry for making violent video games, you should blame the parents.
Video games became popular because of Atari and Pac-Man. Although violent video games were on the rise during the 90s, people believed others would act out in a violent nature as exemplified by the Columbine Massacre and Doom, which I believe sparked out the violent video game debate. But the statistics did not prove this. Between 1994 and 2001, after Mortal Kombat and Doom were introduced, teen violence decreased by 44%. Essentially, our reduced attention spans and desensitization led to the introduction of more violent video games, and video game uses started to evolve. This also led to the moral arguments of responsibility over sensitive issues such as the Columbine Massacre and whether or not person's entertainment is worth someone else's life. Here are some students who have played violent video games and a professor's view on what they think about violent video games and whether it can lead to an increase in aggression.
I think a lot is put on video games, television, any visual media that really shouldn't be laid at their doorstep. Why are people blaming the media when we're the parents? And that's the biggest question. All right, this is a chicken and egg thing, as far as I'm concerned. Are people buying these type of aggressive video games because they're already aggressive and that's what they like? Or are the video games making them aggressive so they go out and be aggressive?
I don't really understand why people play them. No, actually I think it helps people take out their aggression.
Pokemon's pretty violent. Haven't you heard?
No, it isn't.
Razor leaf cuts.
Actually, I
got paper cut once,
I really like Grand Theft Auto because I just like running people over. But I guess I play Grand Theft Auto because I can't run people over in real life. So I just take it out on the video game. Does that make me really aggressive?
So would you say that Grand Theft Auto makes you have more aggressive thoughts, or?
No.
I think that violent video games will get people to start thinking violently, but at the same time, I don't think that it's the main cause of violent behavior or crime, because I think that it could also work the other way around, as in people who enjoy aggression and people who would normally deviate to commit crimes would be the same types of people who would play violent video games.
And I physically think we're not gonna go out and shoot people and stuff, but some kids will. Some kids will,
But not because of video games.
But I think unconsciously, it is affecting us. So, we'll take
I think any kid who looks at video games be like, it's okay to shoot people are stupid.
Yeah.
You can act out all these violence aggressions, but you always know that it's not real.
Yeah. So it can be an outlet for aggression.
But some kids, it could lead them into something in real life. But I think there's always going to be exceptions to kids.
Wait, how violent?
We're talking about
Mortal Kombat.
That's fine. Now, did you want to bash anyone's skull in or try to do a backflip or a kick and?
No.
Come on, you didn't want to do flying kicks afterwards or some Sub-Zero shit?
I'm not retarded. It's just a video game. I think violent video games are perfectly fine for people to play. I used to play violent video games, and I actually really enjoyed hitting prostitutes and shooting them. But that's just in a video game, and it's important to create a distinction between video games and real life.
Essentially, all of these views are valid, but due to the objective nature of this debate, the question remains: are there predispositions and psychological factors that make people more susceptible to acting out the violent nature that is portrayed in a video game?
Kind of traumatic experience definitely does affect whether or not somebody will react in a violent manner towards something. But I don't think that video games have anything to do with influencing them on acting out. I think primarily it has to do with mental illness.
A lot of it comes down to how they grew up and I guess what they like or what they were taught to like. Because I guess if you had parents that really didn't give a crap, or if you had parents that were violent in the house, that would also contribute to something like that. Yeah. And the child would enjoy playing video games or want to act out. But I think that if the crime rates dropped because of that, or when the games came out, then I think that maybe the games were an outlet for the violence.
Yeah, definitely. There's also the fact that
I feel like Columbine, you can't just blame it on the video games. That had like so many other outside influences. Like it wasn't pure coincidence that they did it on like 420.
Yeah, like the situation like you talked about, like living growing up in a poor area.
I think instead of blaming the industry for making violent video games, you should blame the parents.
What's happening here is that we're looking for something to blame. We're always looking that there's an answer to everything. Games lead to violent behavior. Anything in this day and age can lead to violent behavior. They say that people are influenced greatly by video games, and that the violence that's in Grand Theft Auto and all those war games is going to become pervasive around society. But if video games are so powerful, why is it that nobody started eating other people, like in Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man? Some people may already be predisposed because of what's happened in their lives. Bad relationship with their parents, somebody broke up with them, whatever. And again, I'm not saying that it isn't possible. Just, I don't know if it's very easy to prove unless somebody out and out says it.
Violent video games have been proven to increase aggressive thoughts and behaviors when compared to non-violent games. So to decrease this technology's adverse effects, the government regulates video game sales, and studies have also shown that pro-social games promote non-violent behavior. So instead of trying to find something or someone to blame, we should be more concerned with finding solutions, as problems always exist.
Searching on the crowded streets to the place that I once saw.
Okay, I forgot the topic already.
The topic is violent video games is stupid.
What about the Look a Farm?
Look a Farm.
By the way, hi Jeff.